Hello and welcome back to Barn One. Tonight we're going to do a walk around of the Nash and kind of give you a baseline of where we're at and what needs to be done with it and introduce you to the project. All right, so what we have here is a 1929 Nash Advanced 6 sedan. They came with numbers like 460, 440, and 420. I'm not exactly sure how that all plays in, but this is a four-door sedan. The longer wheelbase, I believe, and wooden wheels. So it's not the top of the line model, but it's not the bottom of the line model. I got it from a very nice family in the Hilton area of New York. It had been sitting for quite some time. If you check out the last previous registration here, it says it was last road legal in 1977. I think that the vehicle has been restored, probably in the 50s or 60s. We see evidence of a paint job in areas like this, where you can see that it was a darker green, kind of indicating that somebody has done something to it at some point, and spots like that. I also believe that this trim shenanigans, whatever this stuff is, also bears evidence of being painted. But that's fine. It's an older restoration, and what I'm hoping to do with the vehicle is more of a preservation than a restoration. People say they're only original once. I know this isn't original, but it's old. It looks its age, and I really don't want to take that away from it. So, yeah. I don't think it's been ran in at least 14 or 15 years. When I got it, it had been sitting in a barn. It was buried in dust. The previous owner, or previous owner, had taken some steps to put it into long-term storage. It was loaded up with mothballs. A lot of mothballs, like all these door pockets and stuff, full of mothballs. And the containers for those mothballs didn't have barcodes on them. So they were, old. They're in the other shop. I'm going to take a look at those too at some point. But everything's here. We're solid. I don't think there's any major parts missing, which is good. The interior is in good shape. The mohair is nice and solid. There is some damage in the back, and we'll get back around to that, as you can see. And I did have a wee bit of trouble towing it home, as the rear roll-down curtain took some abuse. You can go back there and look at that. So, the previous owner, the guy that I got it from, stated to me years ago that when he was moving it, something bumped into it, folded the spare tire forward, and created this damage here. It broke the rear window, and we're going to have that looked at and assessed. Hopefully it's a simple, take the rear seat out, give it a good karate kick, and the thing pops out more or less. I know it's not going to be that easy, but, and then we'll find some suitable window replacement. But there is a roll-down curtain that's just disintegrated. We'll replace that too. But I'm trying to avoid further creasing when we do pull it back. The gas tank, I don't know if we'll be able to look in here and see, but actually I do have a flashlight on me. Maybe we can make this work. I don't know if you guys can see down in there, but there we go. Yeah, it's funky down in there. That gas is ancient, and it stinks. Funny thing, when I did put the car in the garage, between the mothballs and the old gas that was in it, you could smell this thing in the other room. But the tank holds liquid; it doesn't leak. That's a plus. So, I'm very pleased with that. We've been working on the paint. I don't know if it'll show up here. This side we've buffed with a couple of different products and waxed. This side I haven't done anything to. So the paint will come back. It's some type of single stage paint. There's no clear coat on it. And I did the same thing with the chrome up here. This we hit with Neverdull and Steel Wool, and then this side I haven't done anything to, so there's a lot of meat on the bone there for that. And yeah, the wood wheels are going to come off and get restored. I think they would have been painted, but a lot of guys during the restorations like to varnish them up. We'll see how they turn out after we get them off. All right, got the hood open here. It is a 3-liter 6-cylinder engine, and for the observant of you, you've probably noticed that's a pretty big distributor. It's got 12 spark plugs, 2 spark plugs per cylinder, and it is an overhead valve. For 1929, that's just crazy technology. There's 2 coils mounted on the wall here, and the generator up front. It's apparently when they run, they're a very smooth running engine. I've seen videos online where guys are balancing nickels on the top of them and stuff. I'm excited to see that. I was told that there might be some bearing issue in these. These have Babbitt insert bearings. So there's a bronze or a brass shell lined with Babbitt material. When I got the car home, the drain plug was out, and I fished out a small piece of that Babbitt material. So I don't know if that's common for break-in for these, if that's to be expected, or if it's shot. So the engine's going to get some serious attention, and see where that leads us. There should be some splash pans in here. Got a breather for the crankcase. Here, there would have been a bypass filter, and somebody has bypassed the bypass filter with just a chunk of brake line, compression line, something. We'll have to sort that out as well. But I haven't dug too deep into the motor because I'm a little, I don't know, concerned or shy of the whole thing. I want to make sure that we do it right and not just do the masculine thing and try firing it up. So we're going to do a little more research and see if we can't find some local experts before we tear into that. But the firewall, I guess, again, bears evidence of that previous restoration and shows some kind of neon turquoise color. It is wood. You know, it's a wooden firewall, as you can see there. I'd like to sand it down when the engine comes out and varnish it. That probably isn't original, but I like varnish. So we'll see what happens there. And the old Claxton horn. I've got something similar on the Model T. I want to hear this thing's voice. It's going to be neat. I'm expecting a hearty awooga. But yeah. All right, we're on the other side of the engine now. And some notable things over here. This guy here is a chassis lubrication system. On the floor, there's an additional pedal off to the left, and this would be filled with, I'm not sure what viscosity of oil, but I'm thinking something in the neighborhood of like your standard motor oil. Definitely not a grease. And you would actuate a pedal on the floor, and through these hydraulic lines, they go everywhere. They're down here. They go to all of the spring shackles and front axle, rear axle. The whole chassis gets lubricated from one central point. Nash advertised that heavily, and that was like a big selling point for them. I think. We'll go for a little walk here. You can see here the finest centralized chassis lubrication. They show a woman's foot, daintily pressing the system to lubricate the whole thing. But there's a Nash 400. This one's different. It's got the Landau top in the back, but still same generation of vehicle. So that's kind of neat. Was able to pick that up at a local flea market. Nash wasn't the biggest company out there, but there's still stuff. So there's the carb, dusty. We have a oil level indicator, which will be fun to play with and see if that works. There's no oil in there now, so it should be reading danger. Yeah, so that is the driver's side of the engine. We're inside the car now. The dash is a painted wood. It's metal, but they did a nice job painting wood grain on it. That's original. Uh, key, Briggs and Stratton. I guess that was fairly common. I was able to make a couple of duplicates over there on the key machine. It was kind of neat to have the parts. Made me feel like an accomplished human being. But everything's all right in here. We are missing and having some trouble with door handles. I believe this one was from that 50s restoration, and these are the originals. They've got some type of pot metal blooming issue, and I believe that this is common where whatever the alloy is, one of the components in the alloy goes to hell and then makes the whole thing kind of disintegrate. You can see the cracks in it and whatnot. But I tried to crank open the windshield and got stabbed in the hand when the crank just broke apart in my hand. So we're going to look for those when I go to Hershey this year. But other than that, everything is here. So I thank you for joining us and taking a tour around the car. Like I said, my goal for this vehicle is just a hardy and solemn preservation. I don't want to take away too much of the history. There's also the possible connection to some type of American fame here, and once I can prove that a little better, I'll bring that forward. But I don't want to get anybody's hopes up just yet. So, anyways, thank you, and I hope to see you again back here at Barn One.